Oi pessoal, eu sou o Bruno Ascari e eu estou aqui com o pessoal do The Hives para a gente poder fazer uma entrevista e conversar sobre a música que eles acabaram de lançar, sobre o novo disco. So, thank you so much for your time, and we are here to talk about your new music, Enough is Enough, and the new album too. I was thinking, when you released the latest album, The Death of Randy Fitzsimmons, Randy died, okay, your main composer, and his family wrote the new material for the previous album. Is his family now doing the new songs, or who is?
We don't know too much. We don't know too much about the family or where the songs really come from. It's kind of a tricky thing. That, because I mean, with Randy, he was always, a part of it. Like apart from the last record where he was just gone. Mm-hmm. And I mean, whether he's dead or not, it's hard to say. But there's a mystery to it. But with this record, there's definitely more heads involved, and but it's kind of hard to. Well, I mean, with Randy also, he wanted to be anonymous, and that's why we never really talked about him.
Yeah,
and it's kind of a little bit the same here, that it's no matter how much we know, we won't really disclose everything. It's supposed to be
the sixth member.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a sort of a mystery, or at least I like it when there's sort of a mystery to it.
Yeah. I was thinking about the lyrics of Enough is Enough, and maybe what's the meaning behind it, because I talk about it on my channel about the ideas from the lyrics and stuff like this. Enough is Enough, it's from your hiatus, it's from the situation of the world. What is about?
Probably not the hiatus as much as the situation of the world. There's so much whining going on, and the most whining is being done by the biggest assholes.
Yeah.
So I think that's sort of the quintessential, core of the song. I think.
So you think it gets worse because of the internet, because of politics, because of everything?
It was always there, and to some degree, I think it's in, maybe, with the internet and stuff and the way the press works nowadays and stuff, it's, I think there's more freedom in there, but there's also a whole sort of like a big message board for assholes. Yeah. And that's a problem, kind of. But it's, it's the way of the world. You just learn how to work with it. But it's, like I said, I think it's the biggest part of it is that it's, so much whining going on, and the most whining is being done by the people who should probably be whining the least.
Yeah. In Primavera Sound in 2023, I was there to see your show. It was really energetic, fantastic, really. One of my favorites.
Oh, nice.
Really.
Thank you.
And I was thinking, because of the internet and so, if people stay away from the internet and go more to concerts or more listen to music, because I think we had a ritual, like when a new record was out, everybody gathered their friends around to listen to the album, to talk to the album. Do you think this is a good way to stop the dumbness?
Well, I think that's definitely one way of doing it. I mean, the other bit of doing it is, by just sort of seeping in, like taking in everything that's, posted. Like you have a YouTube channel and it's, it talks about music.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. I mean, I discovered a lot of the stuff that I was into as a kid but never got to see, is now available on YouTube and stuff with like old live clips and stuff. And now I get to see it. And now I get to discover all these bands that, hey, these guys were a great live band, or these guys, so I think it's amazing, the sheer quantity of what's available. So that's amazing. But that stuff that you're talking about is also amazing. How you would, gather around a stereo system. It's kind of like, I think the Flaming Lips sort of had that a little bit. When they released those records where you could play like one record in each speaker or something, they had these car listening parties or something, where it would be like, I think maybe they had even 4 records and 4 speakers set up or something. And then when you play the records, I think simultaneously, it was supposed to become that's even more of an event. But I know during the pandemic, when we did the sort of live stream stuff, I know that we were talking to people who set up their stuff and aired the stuff projected the stuff onto their houses and stuff, and they would sit out on the lawn and gather neighbors and stuff, and they would watch the Hives shows.
That's nice.
So there is that. So I mean, both ways of doing it is great. I mean, because I think the one thing of, everybody doesn't live where they have names. Like, we come from Sweden, it's a very sparsely populated country, and if you're the only one who's into rock and roll or punk or something, like in your little village or whatever, you can discover all that stuff from the internet. You can watch that stuff, and then when you meet people that who are into it.
No, that's fantastic.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's great.
And talking about the new record, the Hives Forever, Forever the Hives, I heard that Mike D was one of the co-producers of the album, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I wanted to know how it became him to become this producer, how it was the process of inviting him.
The process, I think, is a phone call away, something like that. But I think as far as the Beastie Boys go, I think we've always been fans of the Beastie Boys ever since we were kids. And, they had, No Sleep Till Brooklyn and Fight for Your Right and all that stuff. But then they became something else. And they were always very good at the sort of hardcore punk stuff, which we enjoyed. So, I mean, they were always really good at sort of mixing the hardcore punk stuff with the sort of hip-hop beats and all that stuff. And I think we're always just fans. And, it's one of those things where you, at one point or another, you feel like maybe, you want to see if you can add something to this record, bit of flavor or whatever.
Yeah. And Josh Homme is on the album too.
Yes.
By coincidence, really. I just pick up the first shirt that was available.
Coincidence.
And you guys worked with him on 2 songs on Lex Hives. It was 2 bonus tracks.
The bonus tracks. Yeah. We were
what is his work here on the new album? Can you tell us about it?
I think there's more of an advisory role, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you know more.
We did. We didn't really work with him in the studio or anything. It was more like a mentor, maybe. I would say.
More a vibe.
Like distance sort of thing, Working from
long distance relationship.
And I'm really curious about when you are recording something, about the references that you are listening to. Were you guys listening to some album or to some band at the time? Or maybe, like you said, remembering something from your childhood or something like this?
I think this record is, if anything, it sort of funnels in on being an arena rock record. So in that case, it's records with AC/DC, like Back in Black, and For Those About to Rock or something. I think that was in the back of our heads for a good chunk of what's on the record, for a good percentage of what's on the record. And then there are other songs that sound completely different than, AC/DC or anything like that. But I mean, I think the big rock record was the one that we were aiming for.
Okay. And another question is about garage rock. Like you guys, like 20, 25 years ago, became part of like a movement, we can say, about the revival of garage rock and say. Is there any new bands that you guys listen to that you think it's interesting or something like this?
There's tons of new bands, I think. There's bands everywhere. And I think the only way that I would discover those bands is actually through the internet. Hard time, because there's so many small, punk bands and stuff that we really like that are, that I don't think I would ever get to see. Because if you have whatever 1,786 views on YouTube, and it's like I probably wouldn't find that through my local record store. Maybe, So there's tons of great bands. I mean, in Sweden, there's Viagra Boys. I mean, the Mannequins are now supporting or actually being the beat for Paul Collins, which is pretty cool. And what else? There's tons of stuff.
Bad Nerves.
Yeah, Bad Nerves.
You guys like other bands from Sweden, like Opeth? Ghost.
Yeah. We every once in a while when we go to studios and stuff, when we meet, at Grammys or whatever, or airports, So we meet all those bands. So everybody kind of knows what everybody's doing. So yeah, they're cool. like Opeth, they recorded stuff in the studio. We recorded bits of, well, I think the last record, I think the last time we met them or something. But yeah, tons of great bands.
Maybe a new EP coming from you guys, like some prog metal garage band or something like that.
Maybe that's the next record, our prog metal record. Yeah. Sometimes that's the way we have to go to finally sound like something else. Like we have to really take it far, because it'll still kind of sound like the Hives. There's so much fucking Hives DNA in our blood and in our band that it's hard to sound like anything else.
Yeah. And can you guys talk a little bit more about the new records? Like, what can we expect, or something like this?
Well, I mean, what you guys can expect is probably a grand success. The Hives taking over everything, you know.
Like your 7th magnum opus.
Yeah. I don't really know which. Is this our 7th record or something? I don't know. Okay, cool. Yeah. But yeah, big takeover.
So, and you guys returned to Brazil in 2023 and last year. Can we expect the Hive shows around here?
I'm going to say yes.
Yes. We'll be back as soon as we can.
Okay. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful, really. So, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. E então é isso, gente. Muito obrigado. Um grande abraço para vocês e até o nosso próximo vídeo.
Obrigado.
Obrigado.